All right, probability. These are the second notes for Unit 4. What I'm expecting you to be able to do is find the probability of event using theoretical. All right, so we have theoretical probability, experimental probability, and then simulation methods. Okay, there is a difference between theoretical and experimental, and I expect you to know the difference between those two. All right, the probability of an impossible event is 0% because it's impossible. It's not going to happen. All right, the probability of a certain event is 100% because it's absolutely going to happen. All right, the probability of all other events is between 0% and 100%. So if you get a probability that's bigger than 100%, you did something wrong. All right, and that's an easy way to tell. All right, so we're going to start with experimental probability first. All right, experimental probability. This is our formula for doing experimental probability. This means the probability of any event happening is equal to the number of times the event occurs over the total number of trials. In other words, the total number of times that you ran the event. All right. So we're going to see how experimental probability works. Again, this is experimental probability. In the teacher's parking lot, there are 80 cars. Of those 80 cars, 20 of them are trucks. What's the experimental probability that if you ask one of those 80 teachers with a vehicle parked in the lot, they said that they are not driving a truck? All right. So we want the probability of not driving a truck. All right. So 20 of them were trucks, so that means 60 of them were not trucks. So that goes on top, 60 over the total number, and that was 80. And then we reduce that, which gives us 3/4, which is 75%. So you got a 75% chance of them saying they were not driving a truck. Okay? All right, there's a U-try here. You can go ahead and do that U-try. It should be fairly easy. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is a simulation. There's a lot of different ways of simulating some event occurs. All right, and you should know different ways of doing a simulation. All right, but the simulation I'm going to show you here today is we're going to do a simulation using the graphing calculator. Okay, so on a multiple choice test, each item has 4 choices. So there's 4 possible choices that they could pick from, like A, B, C, and D. But only one choice is correct. How can you simulate guessing the answer? All right. Well, there's a couple different ways of doing this. One way is you could put the numbers 1 through 4 in a hat and then pull one out at a time. You could put the numbers 1 through 4 on a spinner and then you could spin it. All right, so there's different ways of doing this, but we're going to use the graphing calculator to run our simulation. All right, now to do it in the graphing calculator, all right, it's going to look like this. We're going to go to math, and then all the way over in math is probability. All right, and then under the probability is number 5 is random int. All right, random int, and you're going to go to that. All right, the first number you're going to put in is the lowest number you want to come out, and for us it's going to be a 1. Then we're going to do a comma, and then the highest number we're going to come out is a 4, and we're going to do a comma. The comma is right above the 7. All right, now there are 10 questions on the test. All right, so that's our next number, is how many we want to come out. So we're going to put in a 10. So what this will do is it will generate the numbers 1 through 4, and it'll only use integers 10 times. All right, that's what this does when I put it in the calculator. All right, now the first thing you got to do before I hit enter is I got to pick out which one of our choices it's going to be the correct choice. So remember, we're going to either put out a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. So one of these numbers has to be the correct number. Every time it comes out, that's going to be means that we got the answer right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a 2. All right. So that's the first thing you do before you hit that enter button. All right. So now what we do is this. Is we're going to fill in the numbers in here. So when you hit enter on here, it generates the 10 numbers. So our numbers are 4, 4, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1. Now notice, I didn't get 10 numbers. The other numbers are off to the right, and you got to hit the right arrow key. Don't hit anything else. If you hit anything else, it's going to lock those and you won't be able to see them. But if I hit the right arrow key, I can see the other numbers, and I got to the 1, so I need the 2, 4, 1. All right. Now, all I have to do is hit enter again, and it'll generate another 10 numbers. So again, this one's 4, 4, 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, and then I go over, and I got 1, 3, 4. All right, and then I hit enter again, and we got 4, 2, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 4. And then I hit enter again, and I got 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 4. And then I'll hit enter again, and I got 1, 1, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 1, 2. And I hit enter again, and I got 1, 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, 3. And I'm just going to fill in this first column. And I hit enter again, and I got 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 3, and then 3, 3, 4. All right, this is what you're going to do in the test too. You're going to fill in the first column like that. All right. Now we said 2 was the correct answer, so we got to figure out how many 2's we get. So in this first one, I got 1, 2. So over here, I'm going to put 2. Second one, I got 1. Next one, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one, I got 1. Next one, I got 1, 2. Next one, I got 1. Next one, I got 1, 2, 2. All right, so the first column has to get filled in like this. The rest of the columns, all right, all you have to do is just put this number in. So you're going to look for, basically on this one, I'm going to look for 2's now, all right? And it says I only have to run it 20 times. There's 21 boxes, so I don't have to fill in this last box. All right, so now I'm just going to count the 2's that I get. All right, and fill in. But again, this is the way you're going to do it on the quiz and on the test. You're going to fill it in like this. The first column gets filled out completely. After that, you only have to write the numbers that you get. All right, so now I hit enter, count my 2's, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. All right, I'm gonna put the formula back in there. All right, and again, I'm just putting it in there so you guys can see it again. So again, what I did is I went to math. I went over to probability. All right, I went down to where it says random int. And for this problem, I put in the lowest number first, so 1, the comma above the 7. All right, the highest number was a 4, the comma, and then how many times I was doing it, and this one I was doing it 10 times. So again, showed you another time me putting it in. All right, and then hit enter. And again, I'm still just counting the 2's. So 1, 2, 3, 3. Enter. 1, 1. Enter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enter. 1, 2, 2. Enter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And enter last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So now I got my table all filled in. All right. Now what you have to do is you have to answer the question. All right. So the probability says, what's the probability that based on the simulation you get at least 5 of the 10 questions correct? All right. All right. So that would, we need 5 or more. So let's see. We have 1 5, 2 5s. So 2. So the probability of at least 5 is 2 out of the number of times we ran the experiment, which is 20. Again, this is experimental probability. We're doing an experiment. All right. So that means it's 1 out of 10 or 10%. Again, in probability, you can give the answer as a reduced fraction or as a percent. All right. The next part of this says, what's the probability we got at least 6 of the 10 questions correct? All right. So the probability of at least 6 is 0 out of 20 because we didn't get any 6 or mores. So that is 0%. All right. So that is experimental probability. And I'm going to stop right there. You can do the U-try, all right? And you can also do the probability classwork. You can do the first page of it. Gives you practice at those, doing those, all right? So again, this is the probability classwork. You're just going to do the front page, all right? Just the front page of it. All right, so you're just doing 1 through 4 in the probability classwork. Again, get your practice at doing those. All right.